We know that Am Yisrael is the Am HaNivchar. Kadosh Baruch Hu Bochar Banu Mikol Ha'amim v'nosam lanu es Torah. Everybody knows that Klal Yisrael is the Am HaNivchar, the chosen people. Klal Yisrael is the chosen people. The result of being the chosen people is responsibilities. We have responsibility. We are given a Torah Sefer, the Tariq Mitzvahs, with the Chiyuv of Talmud Torah. So we understand the big responsibilities of being Am HaNivchar. Of course, there are great rewards for being Am HaNivchar, but at the same time, there are great responsibilities in being the Am HaNivchar. Most people don't do so well with responsibilities. Most people, at a certain point in time, if you burden them with acharayus, you burden them with responsibility, so at a certain point they are bo'et, they rebel against responsibility. The burden, the oil, the burden is too great. Carry this burden, it's a never-ending responsibility, and people are bo'et against this. But the truth of the matter is that most of us don't understand what it means that we were nivchar la'am, how we were nivchar, and how we were nivchar, and to what we were nivchar, and for what we were nivchar. So I'd like to take a few minutes to look in Mitzvah Hashem at a couple of makoros in the Torah that I think would change your view of our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and our relationship with the Torah, and our relationship with ourselves. In Parshas Vayera, HaKadosh Baruch Hu determined that he was going to destroy Sodom v'Amorah. Sodom v'Amorah were a cancer in world society. They had to be destroyed. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says a surprising thing. V'Hashem Omar, ha'mechaseh ani me'Avram asher ani oseh. Am I going to hide from Avram Avinu what I'm about to do? V'Avram hoyoy yiyeh legoy gadol v'yotzu. Avram Avinu is going to become the forefather, the founder of a huge nation, and bracha will come to the whole world. I shouldn't tell him what I'm going to do. Ki yodativ, for I know Avram Avinu. Lamana sheyitzave es bonav es beis la'achrav. I can rely on him. He will command his children and his progeny and his generations. V'shamru derech Hashem. They will observe the derech Hashem. To practice charity and to practice justice. It's a very funny passage. HaKadosh Baruch Hu owes it to Avram Avinu to tell him what he's going to do. You're HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's your world, you do what you like. Why do you owe it to Avram Avinu? So he'll become the leader of a great nation. So become the leader of a great nation. And so God did things without him. So God did things without him. God will always do things without him. What's the pshat? It's a long discussion. I'm not going into that now. I'm just going to one part of this discussion. Because Baruch Hu said, I have to tell him, Ki yodativ, because I'm familiar with him, I know him, and he's commanding his children to go b'derech Hashem. What is this yodativ? Yodativ is yediyah, I know him. We know everybody. I also know people. What does it mean yodativ? It says Rashi, yodativ lashon chiba. Yodativ means I love him, not that I know him. So Rashi says, what do you mean? But yodativ always means to know. The verb yedi'ah means to know. How did it suddenly become to love? It says Rashi, because somebody who knows somebody, cares about them, gets to know them very, very well. Gets to know them he makes a point of knowing them extremely well, becomes familiar, becomes accustomed to them. He becomes familiar with the person. So I have a great yediyah, I have a great intimate knowledge of Avram Avinu. Why? Because I love him. Why does the HaKadosh Baruch Hu love him? Because Avram Avinu is going to teach his children, educate his children to know Derech Hashem. What is the Derech Hashem? Derech Hashem is a sefer written by the Lutzata. Before the Lutzata wrote a sefer, what does Derech Hashem mean? So the Rishonim don't say anything. The only one who says anything is the Ramban. The Ramban says that he knows he will teach him Yosher, honesty, forthrightness. It will be forthright and honest. It means it's the derech eretz hakodem of the Torah. It's not talking about the laws of the Torah. The Torah wasn't given yet. It's true, api Kabbalah, the Ovis kept the Torah, that's all true. But that's not the Pashup Pshat in the Pasuk. The Pashup Pshat in the Pasuk is because Avraham Avinu teaches his children and teaches his students to be honest and forthright and have a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and therefore I love him. And because I love him, I have a reason I want to tell him. The reason is not important. I know it's a shir b'fnei atzmo. We'll get, it'll take too long over the time. But the mechayiv, the reason why I need to tell him is because I love him and because he teaches stoko mishpat. The derech Hashem is la'aseh stoko mishpat, to make sure the world is run in a charitable way and in an honest way and in a fair way. That's what Avraham Avinu is concerned with, and that's what I love, and that's what makes me close to him, and that's why I know him, and that's why I'm going to tell him what I'm doing now. So you see, the bechira of Avraham Avinu was ki yodativ, right? Lashon chiba, because I love him. Where does the Ramban take this from? It takes it from here, but there's a mefurish in the pasuk. It's a very important pasuk in Parshas Vayeschanan. The end of Parshas Vayeschanan, Parsha says the following: Ki am kodesh atol Hashem Elokecha. You are a holy people. V'cho bochar Hashem Elokecha l'yosam segula. Couldn't get any stuff. Kodesh Baruch Hu chose you to be His treasure. People would stop a second to think. You believe in the Torah. You believe in the words of the Torah. Kodesh Baruch Hu chose us to be His treasure. That's valuable. That's a valuable thing. People throw away Torah and mitzvahs because they want to go to ball games, because they want to go to discotheques, because they want to face what they want to do. What is it? What are you getting? What's the big goal? Because Baruch Hu said it took you to be an oitzes gula for him. And you're running after a piece of metal, a piece of schmutz. What do you do? Mikoil ha'amim ashal pnei adama. This choice was made. Mikoil ha'amim ashal pnei adama. From all the nations. I looked at all the nations, all the people. I looked at everybody. I chose you. So you know what? Because we're the most successful, we're the most powerful, we're the strongest, we're the biggest. No, loy mirubchem mikol ha'amim choshek Hashem b'chem vayivchar b'chem. Nocham did I choose you. Ki atem ma'at mikol ha'amim. On the contrary, you're the ma'at. Chazal say atem ma'atim et atzmechem, because you're humble. Not because you're noisy and you're big and you're ostentatious. We have big houses and big cars and big bank accounts and big financial houses and big private planes and that. That's not what makes me important. Not important. You're important. Why? Ki me'avas Hashem eschem u'mishomro es hashvu asher nishba ala avosechem. Kodesh Baruch Hu chose you because He loves you. And because He made a shvuah to your forefathers. Therefore, Hotzi Hashem eschem biyot chazaka v'yiftachem beis havadim. That was the reason also for Yetzias Mitzrayim. Not because it was unfair, not because He had pity on you, not because He took you out because He loved you. Rabbi Hashem loves Klal Yisrael. So the Ramban asks a very simple question. It doesn't make any sense. Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't take you because you're the most, because you're the least. Not because you're so many people. Rather because He loves you. So why does He love you? Because He loves you. Where's that coming from? It doesn't say in the Apostle why. If you would say I love you because you do something, I can understand why He loves me. It says Ki ma'avas Hashem eschem. Well, something's wrong. He loves me for no reason. So Ramban finds that to be a big problem. The Ramban says the following. First of all, he goes back on the pasuk that says Lo mirubchem mikolam choshak Hashem b'chem. Says the Ramban, what's the lashon choshak? Shenikshar imochem bekesher omid shelo miparig mikem la'olam. Kodesh Baruch Hu made a bond with Klal Yisrael, which is eternal. Shelo miparig mikem la'olam. He'll never separate from you. It's not having an affair with you, not choosing you, He's not liking you. He made a decision. He's bound to you forever. Why? So the Ramban says, V'lo hizkir b'zeh tam min ha'b'rachim. The pasuk, after all, hasn't explained the reason for this choice. It just tells you because of love, but there's no reason. So he says, the reason the Torah doesn't explain a reason, we don't have a reason, is Ki hanivchar la'oyev hayadua lizboin as oyev b'chol haba olav mimenu. It's obvious that a person, who does the person choose as a lover? I don't mean, God forbid, in the secular sense. Who does the person choose to love? Somebody who will tolerate them. Repeat what I'm saying. Somebody who can deal with you. Somebody who will accept you. Somebody who understands you're not perfect. Kodesh Baruch Hu is perfect. I'm not going into that, but I'm saying somebody who can live with you. So I said something that wasn't right, but I did something that wasn't right. As long as I'm basically tired, the person continues with me. Another person says, you said this, I'm out, I'm going away. So who do I stay with? Who's my good friend? Who's my bosom buddy? Who's my wife? Who's my business partner? The one who's saving me. The one who tolerates me. The one who accepts me and understands that basically I'm an ish toiv. And the Kodesh Baruch Hu looked at Klal Yisrael. And he saw that Klal Yisrael is the only nation of the world that will tolerate the hanhaga, the conduct that he wants to have with us. The conduct of a Kodesh Baruch Hu is faultless. Everything he does is perfectly right, but the boss of Adam doesn't understand that. So they walk around saying, I'm disappointed with this, and why did he do that? I did so much of this, how did this happen? And he rebels. Klal Yisrael doesn't rebel. Ki hanivchar la'oyev hayodea lizbol es oyev b'chol ha'ba'olav mimenu. V'Yisrael ru'uyim lekach mikol ha'amim. And Klal Yisrael is uniquely able and suitable for that among all the nations of the world. K'mo she'omru, etc. And this came from where? Ba'avur avoseichem. This came from your forefathers. She'gi in Yonim, who was so elevated and close to Hashem, he was so committed to your forefathers. He stayed with them, committed to them, made an oath to remain with them forever, because he discerned in them the ability to be stable, the conduct of the revolution. Maybe it sounds, you can be careful how you say this, because it sounds like, to tolerate it. How can you tolerate so difficult hanhaga? Hanhaga, the conduct of a Kodesh Baruch Hu min hashamayim, cannot be a conduct which is simply accepted in this world. In this world, you see in the world today, the world became completely decadent, and it's one world, big world of entitlement. Everybody walks around saying, Zeh magia li, this is what I meant to get. I'm entitled to this, and I'm entitled to that, and I should have this, and I should have the other. Why should you have anything? Who are you? It doesn't work that way. The more crazy you are, and the more absurd your demands, and the more decadent you are, the more coverage you demand, the more financial help you get, and the more insurance coverage you get. Normal, regular people don't get any help. Only lunatics in the fringe element. So such people can't understand that the hanhaga of Kodesh Baruch Hu. Kodesh Baruch Hu gives a person yisurim in their lifetime as a kapara. He gives a person yisurim in their lifetime. They should be able to do tshuva. That's not because Kodesh Baruch Hu hates you. That's what Kodesh Baruch Hu. Kodesh Baruch Hu gives Musa, Kodesh Baruch Hu gives Musa in the case where he wants a person to be able to accept and understand, I'm doing this for your benefit. Like a father will tell a son, no, I'm not giving you the car. He feels the son is a dangerous driver, he could, God forbid, get in an accident. So you like to be nice to your son, but giving him the car is not the solution. He's going to get in an accident. It's not going to be good. Person is not well, the doctor says, I'm terribly sorry, you can't eat this food, but I like this food. You like the food, you'll end up dead. Don't eat the food. So the doctor doesn't like me. The doctor doesn't like you. The doctor loves you, that's why he's telling you not to eat the food. The hanhaga of the Shemayim is not easily miskabel oretz, but Klal Yisrael, which is meruma mikol am, understands that there's hanhaga in the Shemayim. If you want to see how that's true, just think a second. The Western world, Western Europe, and then much part of Eastern Europe was decimated, was destroyed in the Second World War. There wasn't a Jew who didn't lose 95% of his family, his parents, his grandparents, his children, his wife, his brothers, his sisters, his rabbi, his charusa, his business partner, his shaykhid, his moel, his chazan. Everybody was destroyed. If there was ever an excuse in history for somebody to say, I'm through with this, I'm done with this, I'm finished. The excuse was after the Second World War. And unfortunately, many people took that route. Many people said, Ad kan v'lo yosef. I'm not here to judge them, it's not my job. But there was a Baruch Hashem, a She'eris HaPleita which didn't say that. You have to ask yourself a question. What exactly does it mean? A person lost his father and his mother and 7 siblings and a wife and 2 children. His money, his parnasa, his city, his friends, his infrastructure, the language, the country that he came from. He has almost nothing. He maybe has a shirt in his bag, and that shirt came from somebody else. He didn't buy that shirt. And they land him in a new country. And new country, there's no rules. You come to America, there's no rules. You can yes be Shomer Shabbat, no Shomer Shabbat. You can call yourself Moshe Cohen or call yourself Mo McDonald and get on with life. Call yourself Moshe Cohen. Nobody's interested. As long as you're working, making money, you're a good guy. And he comes to America, he comes to Los Angeles, he has nothing in his life, he makes a school, he makes a cheder that his children can get an education. How does he pay the children? He puts money in his pot. Today there's a tuition crisis. Right? What do you think it looked like in 1950? Which tuition crisis? Nobody had any money. People put their hand in their pocket, they said they have to pay the teacher. So there's no supper tonight, no supper, fine, pay the teacher. This is after you just got beaten up for 10 years, there's nothing left of the person. So you understand that? You understand why Kodesh Baruch Hu loves Klal Yisrael? Why Kodesh Baruch Hu did what he did, I can't, it's not my job to answer you. Obviously he had a reason. But there's no other nation that will do that. There's no other nation in the world that after getting clobbered in such a way will turn around and say, I have to make a mikveh. I have to make a school. I have to make a Shomer Shabbos bakery. Goyim don't think that way. Goyim just, you know what? We're voting you out. We outvoted you. New deal. That's Klal Yisrael. It's so deep that in Shir HaShirim, which is the deepest form of love that Klal Yisrael could ever mention to the Rebbeinu Shalom, in Shir HaShirim, in the 5th chapter, it says the following. Metzauni hashoymrim asayvim be'ir hikuni betzauni nosnis udidim yolai shomri achomris. After the Churban Abayis, so there are people are walking around and they're meeting these Goyish koiches that live in Yerushalayim, who live around Eretz Yisrael. Hikuni v'betzauni. They are hitting me and they are bruising me. They're beating me, blood is running. Hishbati eschem b'nois Yerushalayim. Klal Yisrael says, whoever the B'nai Yerushalayim is not important now, they say to B'nai Yerushalayim, Im timtu es doidi. So Rashi says it means, one day, there's going to be a day of reckoning. We haven't got there yet. But one day, Kodesh Baruch Hu is going to say, Ad kan v'lo yosef. And he's going to bring out the goyim of the world, and he's going to bring Klal Yisrael. And he's going to ask the goyim to explain why Klal Yisrael is Am HaNivcha. Ask the goyim, because the goyim know. The goyim who hate us, the goyim who beat us, the goyim who put in chayrim, the goyim who make a BDS and a BSD and a chayis, whatever they're doing. The goyim have nothing better to do but worry about the morals and colors of the goyim. The Security Council never do anything. They all play golf the whole lifetime. If in Shuafat somebody builds a repair set, so they all come together instantaneously. Where are they coming from? What else do you do? Except criticize Klal Yisrael. So what else does the Security Council do? They sanctify Russian misbehavior and Chinese misbehavior. They all wake up when Klal Yisrael, when somebody in Shuafat Nebuch has got no room for the children, so they build another bathroom. This requires the greatest chachamim of the world to sit together, to be done with Kovid Rosh, how to do it. Kodesh Baruch Hu know, they know what they do. It's called Sinis Yisrael. They're not looking for emes. They just call it for Sinis Yisrael, clothing in different ways. So Kodesh Baruch Hu is going to prove to the goyim in Neyu Bay that we're the Am HaNivcha. So Klal Yisrael tells the goyim, when that day comes, listen to me. Ma tagidu loy. What are you going to tell God? Shechoilas ahava oni. I want you to tell God that we were lovesick to God. So the Vilna Gaon says, what does that mean? He says, don't dare tell him that you hit us, and you bruised us, and you killed us, and you burnt us, and you insulted us, and you abused us, and you took him. Don't tell him. Not important. Tell him what was really going on. Tell him that Klal Yisrael couldn't function because Kodesh Baruch Hu, you distanced yourself from us, and we were in pain because we're choilas out. Because when we went to daven in the morning, we didn't see the Shekhinah. There was no Beis HaMikdash. Because when it came to Pesach, we couldn't bring a Korban Pesach. When it came to Sukkot, we couldn't do Nisach HaMayim. Because when it came to Shavuot, we couldn't bring Shtei Alechem. That was our problem. Do you understand what type of state it has from Klal Yisrael? Every family has blood in its history. Don't waste God's time with that blood. Go and tell the Rebbeinu Shalom what's really going on. The Klal Yisrael is Chayres Ha'av. The Klal Yisrael understands the deepest and most enduring relationship that we have is with the Rebbeinu Shalom. When it comes to Rosh Hashanah, we have to understand. We try to do tshuva, we should do tshuva. You look in the Rambam, you look in Rabbeinu Yonah, you have Hilchos Tshuva here. Everyone has to do tshuva, V'ani B'Roshim. But there's two levels of tshuva. If you have a problem with Shlom Bayit, there's two levels, it's the same thing, there's two levels of Shlom Bayit. Number one is, you have to know how to have Shlom Bayit. You might make mistakes, so you have to stop making mistakes. I mean to be nice to my wife, but I'm not nice. I thought she would enjoy if I did this, I made a mistake, I shouldn't say that. All those things, you can train the person. If he's interested, you can train him. But that's not going to fix his real Shalom Bayis. He's only going to have Shalom Bayis if he understands he has to care about his wife. If he understands that the matana of a wife is to have a partner you should care about, and you should learn to love, you should learn to respect, then ultimately he will have Shalom Bayis. He might make a couple of mistakes, you train him not to make the mistakes. Have Shalom Bayis. But all the time he doesn't care about his wife, you're not going to give him Shalom Bayis. So he won't do this, he won't do that, it's not going to help anything. He has to learn to care about other people. That's what the purpose of having family and children is, to learn to care about people. Klal Yisrael has to learn to care about people so they can understand to learn to care about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The tshuva on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur can't only be b'ma'aseh, I shouldn't do this and shouldn't do that. You need to change the nature of the relationship. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has an ava for Klal Yisrael. He wrote it into the Torah. I'm not making it up. It says the Kiva Avas Hashem Eshem. Because Baruch Hu loves you. And he loves you because you know how to deal with him. You should love him back. Learn to love. Learn to feel you have a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Learn to learn the privilege of having a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Then you won't want to do a chait. When a person comes to do a chait, the person knows they're doing a sin. So if they know it's going to offend the other person, I'm not going to do it. So if my father's standing here and I want to say something that's not appropriate, I don't want my father to get hurt by saying this thing, I don't say it. But when he's not here, I do so. Why don't you think HaKadosh Baruch Hu is standing there? Forget about your father. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is standing there. That's why, right in the beginning of Shulchan Aruch, it's Shavis Hashem Neged Tamid. That's why it says a person shouldn't walk around naked, shouldn't do these things. Why? Nobody's seeing anything. Because the Rebbeinu Shalom is there. He would have turned permanent partnership. Gam ki elech begeit salmaves lo yiraro. Doesn't say because HaKadosh Baruch Hu shomer alai, ki Hashem megen alai, ki Hashem zocher oti. It says ki ato imodi. Because I'm going in the gate, some of us, you're there with me. The lover goes with the person wherever he has to go. The person who cares about his child takes his child to the doctor and says, you know what, here's a cab, go to the doctor, so I make his own. That's not a person who loves his child. The person who loves his child goes with him to the doctor. Make sure everything should be done in the best way. That's what we need to think about before Rosh Hashanah. We need to change the nature of our relationship with ourselves and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have to realize He chose us. That's a very valuable thing, the most valuable thing, the most important thing. Why would you want to be a Kol HaGoyim? You want to have a tattoo on your arm? You want to own a poodle? You want to be unmarried in 45 trying to find your name on Facebook? That's what you want to do? Or you want to be a Yid? You want to run to shul in the morning to mitzvahs? The Sfaradim have a bracha. The Ashkenazim would die if they tried this, but they make a whole month of slichot. The Ashkenazim have to have a tzala around there for 1 week just to get out of bed. You do a whole month of sleep, the person gets out of bed, runs to the Avodah Hashem. You know how chaviv that is by any Avodah. It means a person comes to Rosh Hashanah, he's a new person. You should understand how chaviv it is. You understand you're giving a matana to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When it's difficult to get out of bed, think, I'm bringing a korban to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's called slichus. I'm bringing it personally, and I'm bringing it ba'ava, and I'm bringing it respectfully. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes that, kisses that brings the bracha. That's what we need to think about understanding that it's a relationship of Ava, that we should have pride in Ava's Hashem. Hashem is pride in the Ava as for Klal Yisrael. And with that, we should make sure we go from strength to strength and good Shalem.